from contractors, and that will make the contractors to run away and abandon the site. At the end of the day, who will lose? The contractor will not lose, but the communities will lose. But now that you have given the contractor the support, I will not see a gathered now being happy that this road has been completed. So I want other communities too to emulate the people of time.
All right. Other communities, please emulate what the indigents and people of Thai local government did, how they supported the contractors in that community. I actually talked about that one because I was supposed to move on, but I decided to pick out that particular one. So you listen, because there's been lots of complaints that they send contractors to certain communities, and some boys, the owners of the community, so to say, some fine boys would want to get some sort of payment matching the ground for someone working in your community, bringing about development for your community. You still want to collect something. How does that work? Like the governor said, they are there to develop your community. If you say no, then there's no development in your community. It doesn't hurt the contractors. It's only you and your people that would continue to suffer until whichever administration decides to help you. So for those of us that have been going on the streets, trading by the streets, disturbing traffic, those of us that have forgotten that you are not supposed to park where there is no bus stop, go to the bus stop and park. Those of us that have forgotten that it is not everywhere you should stop and pick passengers. It's not okay. And those of us that have forgotten that you're not supposed to fly one way. The River State government has actually talked about the task force. On the task force on the ban of street trading, illegal motor parks, taxi ranks, and mechanic workplaces. This is the good news. They have commenced operation. And I'm sure you're super excited and happy to have the task force back, because some of us are super excited, but I know that most of us are not super excited seeing the task force back, especially commercial drivers. The new coordinator of the task force, DSP Felix Nwadibeyi, he said his team began operation today by first patrolling the streets of Port Harcourt and Obiabo local government areas to sensitize the public on the need to obey government's ban on street trading and illegal motor parks. Nwadibeyi noted that no member of the default task force on street trading and illegal motor park is part of the reconstituted team, which he now coordinates. He also assured the public of the civility of new task force, but warned that anyone who willfully flouts government's ban on street trading, illegal motor parks, taxi ranks, and mechanic workshops will be arrested and persecuted. Here's Nwadibeyi.
Today, we are going out to synthesize the people to make sure they are aware of our presence that we have commenced. For some time now, there was no task force working on them. We are now going out to allow the public that we have commenced. And anybody caught wanting today will be prosecuted accordingly. The men have been lectured. They are well schooled. Even this morning, we've lectured them. On Saturday, we lectured them. Yesterday, we lectured them on how to behave on the road. In as much as you are not ready to obey, perhaps others will learn from you. Because we will not spare you. If you refuse to obey, we will arrest you. Make sure you are being prosecuted. Then what happened to you will serve as a deterrent to others. There's no old task force member that is in this team.
Okay, so based on what we have heard so far, you would want to think that it is commendable. They have sensitized the people, not just the officers, that's the task force personnel, but they have actually taken their time to go around River State, sensitize citizens and those living within River State to obey the government order. Avoid street trading, illegal motor parks, avoid them all. So that is a plus on their side. Now the other side would be the execution of all of this. How many times have you seen any task force inaugurated that people would not condemn? For the meantime, you just might start hearing lots of applauds and good news and praises for this task force. But subsequently, I'm sure you'll start hearing something else from some persons. It doesn't necessarily mean that the task force personnel have faulted. It's just how some persons are. The same way we're hearing stories about OSPAC and some alleged activities, illegal activities being carried out by members of OSPAC. We have heard calls of that on the program. This is the same program where much earlier, when it all started, that's when OSPAC came. And then different communities started having their own kind of OSPAC. There were lots of praises. In MOR, particularly, now, this is just one out of so many other local governments that have had this local vigilante work for them. This local vigilante security outfit assists the police in this local government. But I want to talk about MO. I'm using MO because it was like a high point, a highlight of where there were lots of cases of insecurity, kidnapping, robbery, and the rest of it, especially on the highway, the East-West Road. So there were lots of commendation and praises for us back initially. And then all of a sudden, it turned to accusations, allegations, illegal arrests, and so many stories. Someone would say, well, that's how it happens. People would always want to look for, say something bad about something very wonderful and something very good. But I still look forward to seeing how people would react to this particular task force. But for the meantime, I would love to hear your expectations of this task force. Do you think that for the fact that they are starting with sensitizing the populace, sensitizing the people about the order and what they should do, what they should avoid and what they shouldn't avoid, where they should be and where they shouldn't be, do you think it's actually a good step being taken by this particular task force? And do you feel that if they continue going this way, we just might fall in love with them with the whole of our hearts? We might fall blindly in love with them. What are your expectations of this particular task force? Meanwhile, in Cross River State, if you're from Cross River State, or probably you do business there or you reside there, I think this is good news for you, because the Cross River State government has come out to say that every form of criminal personnel or presence in Cross River State has been flushed out. They have flushed out everything criminality. I mean criminals, actually. So the permanent secretary, State Security Service in Cross River State, Dr. Alfred Mboto, he stated that following the launch of Operation Akbaku, kidnappers, robbers, and cultists and other criminals have been chased out from the state. Mboto, who spoke in Calabar on Monday, that's today, he said that the Christmas and New Year celebrations in the state were so peaceful as criminals were arrested during the period and handed over to the police. In his words, I quote now, Cross River is currently a no-go area for criminals and criminal-minded persons because the presence of Operation Akbaku has made the state too hot for them to operate, he said. According to him, Operation Akbaku is fully equipped with communication gadgets, weapons, operational vehicles, and well-trained personnel who are taking the war against crime to criminal hideouts. His Excellency, Senator Ben Ayade, has appointed security advisors for the northern, central, and southern parts of the state, and all security apparatuses in those three zones were deployed to Calabar during the Yuletide period, and that helped to make sure every part of Calabar was covered by security operatives. He said criminals who plan to return or launch operations from outside the state should be ready to meet superior firepower from Operation Akbaku if they made such efforts. So, if you're a criminal and you plan on visiting Cross River State to just do your normal everyday work, please beware, because they said they would flush you out. And it is not a place for you to dwell in at all. And I believe River State and any other state is not the place for you to dwell in. So the only option you have is just to change and start doing meaningful jobs. I wonder why it's so difficult. Well, it's actually difficult. Now, oh yes, I said I was supposed to talk about something. I completely forgot. It might sound like I'm trying to advise or this inspire to aspire kind of people. But no, it's just reality. Doing good is very difficult. For some persons that feel being a good person is as easy as ABC, it is very difficult. I feel to some extent it is much more easier to be evil-minded and criminal-minded. Because if I'm going from the religious aspect or the biblical aspect, we are all born of sin. born into sin. This world is sinful. So it should be a normal thing for people to be wicked, evil, and sinful. But no. So if you're just stooping for kidnapping, for criminal activities, you're trying to take the easy way out, which is the worldly way. It is way easier than doing the right thing. If you think that it's easy being good, try it. And you see how difficult, and you see the lot of energy people are putting into trying to do the right thing. They are doing much more harder things than you are. They are taking much more risk than you are. I don't know what else anybody has to say to some criminally minded persons to transform or to change, but whatever it is you think you want to hear, just call in on the program and tell me, Buchi, I'm a criminal and this is what I want to hear and this is what I want to understand, and maybe it will make me change my mind. Trust me, I'll be willing to assist with saying the legal right thing so that you can change. I don't know what else you want. Maybe you should just send us a message and tell us exactly what it is you want to hear and why you're so scared of being a good person and why you enjoy being a terrible person. The numbers are 0817-0000951 or 0810-9510951. I was actually thinking Dave would be a part of the program. There's a particular gist we're supposed to gist together. Me telling you that story alone would not be as sweet as me giving you the story with someone else contributing. But I think I just might, within the week, I'll share that story with you. I'll hold on to that one. Send a text message or a WhatsApp message to the number 0701-933-9962. I'd also love to know how your new year is coming. What you got to experience this new year that you think it's unusual, and maybe it's because it's the beginning of the year and everybody are trying to comport themselves. But I truly would love to know what's happening in your environment. And if there's traffic anywhere, please do all to let us know about that as well. 95.1 FM. Good evening. Sorry.
Buchi, good evening.
Good evening to you. Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. How you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome, Eto. It's good to hear from you in 2021. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. New tax force for River State government.
Mm-hmm.
The welcome development. And that welcome development, for the fact that they are disturbing people for Rumbukuru, I want to make appeal that they should divide some of them. Some of them should come from that happy bite that to be recreated flyover along that road for them to be controlling traffic.
You saw them as Rumbukuru today?
No, they will be part of that side. Definitely, they should divide some of them to come there to control motor, so that motor will no longer see people anymore. Because the cargo truck and the rest, they should be able to control it, not by packing people goods and the rest and taking down to the houses and lock house and ask people to bring money and the rest to bed.
That was the defunct, the old tax force.
Can you tell about this previous one? You can never tell.
Oh, so you are just giving them information ahead of time.
So I did make the start for that. Ayade said that the Cross River State will be the peaceful place in ever.
It's already a peaceful place, he said.
So. And he says that it's in Calabar. I want to ask whether it's only in Calabar that people are living. What about other parts of the state? The people not living there, they will not reach there. The security should not walk over there. I mean, they're going to walk only the state capital. It's only the state capital they are governing people.
It's not just Calabar. It's not just Calabar. It's Cross River as a whole.
That should be better, because I don't want to see what we saw in Akwa Ibom State, whereby a city governor will speak for the whole of 8 years and goes back to his house without touching a particular local government. But local government precisely, I want somebody to go and debunk this rumor that he cut about it precisely. He cut about the local government. There is any government project over there. There is none. Started from the days of Fabio today.
Oh, really?
Now, there is no single despite all the oil that is generating revenue for Akwa Ibom is coming out from my community. They are equal to about 80 precisely. But they are not doing anything for us. In short, this government, in short, thank you. I don't want to be so angry. Thank you.
I know you shouldn't be angry. It's a new year. Don't start it with anger. But I'm pretty sure they are listening, and we just hope that they do something about it. It's the beginning of a new year, and I'm sure most persons are really hyped and gingered to do something for the people. Maybe your community would be one of them. Good evening to you. Welcome.
Yeah, Buchi, God bless you.
And you too.
Happy New Year.
What's happening?
Yeah, Buchi,
Yeah?
you see, I have a question to ask. And that question is, why is it that anytime this our governor wants to commission a road, he will go and invite another governor from another state?
What is
Buchi,
wrong with that?
so many things is wrong with that. A councillor can commission a road, a chairman can commission a road. Now, if you are inviting another governor to come and commission a road in your state, you consider the logistics. And this logistics that we are talking about runs into millions of naira. You understand?
Okay.
So that is the area I'm talking. A councillor can commission a road. Now
So you're looking at it from the side of the expenses.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Because if you are bringing another governor from another state to come and commission a road, you know what that takes. You understand? So for me,
But what's the big deal there? I know you're talking about the expense being incurred by the state by bringing
Yes.
another governor.
yes.
But is that really is that a problem? Or should
It is
that
a
be a problem?
Which is a problem. Why is a problem in that? You see that some of these roads that the governors that other state governors is coming into River State to commission are 5-kilometer roads. You understand? Roads that are not even standard. So it doesn't. For me, it's not even encouraging for you to go and bring another governor to come and commission a 10
So you feel
kilometer
someone within the state should commission whatever it is, whether it's 7 or 100 kilometers, someone within the state should do that instead of incurring more expense for the state.
That is what I'm saying, Buchi.
All right.
Now, on the area of the task force, Buchi, we have a problem with our system. Now, if I may hear correctly from that chairman, this people had just only 3 days training. You understand? Now, hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
They had just only 3 days training. If they want to bring in a task force that, can stand the test of time, this will have to run for at least a month training. You don't train somebody for 3 days and then you just bring him on the road. Definitely they will go the same way the other task force went, because they are not properly trained. Their mental status were not checked. This one should be they should evaluate them and then check their mental status. Because some of the people you see they are bringing to run this task force are cultists and touts. We need people who are mature, people who are intelligent.
Have you been a part of the task force before, and are you a cultist and tout that makes you so sure that the people that are being recruited into the task force are cultists and touts?
Now, Buchi, I have witnessed the actions of the former task force. Are you aware?
And that's why they were disbanded, and that's why we have a new one.
I am coming. Are you aware that these people carry machetes and
I'm
axes
sorry,
at their
I
hands?
said that's why they were disbanded. That is not why they were disbanded, but they have been disbanded.
Okay, what I'm
So
trying to
whatever
say is that-
goes with them is out already. This is a new one.
All right, I agree with you. What I'm
It is
trying
so
to
you
say
should
is that
agree with
these people should be given proper training,
All right.
proper orientation. You understand?
Okay.
So this is just my opinion. Because if these people had only 3 days training, they are not perfect. They cannot deliver.
Okay, so you feel there should be more training, psychological, physical, and emotional as well, so we don't see people erupting out of anger. Well, thank you so much for your thoughts. Good evening to you and welcome to Area Talk.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you.
Mm.
I need you to be more audible, please.
Okay, my own area talk is this.
Who am I on to?
You are on to Victor.
Victor. Okay, Victor, welcome.
Thank you. My area talk is that as it's still working. But around the roommaking yesterday, about 2-3 days ago now, where we are drinking in a bar, that VIP area, we saw that they came for arrest. So they are still working. They have their ID card out. So I said, this kind of work is illegal. I said, maybe they have resumed work again, I don't know. So everybody is even surprised to see for an arrest in that area. So they were surprised, people that were there. Even up to now, everybody is surprised to see that. So some of them are saying that it's illegal work. Me too, I'm so surprised. I say, I don't know if it is illegal or legal work, I don't know. But I only know that that's extra in Nigeria. Nigerian government trying and stamp it that that's extra. So it's a very surprising thing to everybody.
Where exactly did you see them?
I'm making here. I'm making a VIP day by day city center area. The king.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing with us, though.
All right. Yeah. So, like this task force of the case, sometimes I would say it's good though, but it's how the outcome will be the problem because the way the very man is even finding now has shown that the thing will not be easy. Oh.
If you do the right thing, I don't think you should be scared of it, what anybody's saying.
No, I'm not really scared, but I'm just feeling it like they will finally deviate from their legitimate duty to other things that will make people complain. If not, they are coming out is fine. And that would be is really terrible. That flyover there, all these keke boys used to. As you are working with your legs, they will jam yourself. Without even telling you sorry, I don't know how they are looking for this.
It's all right. But, sorry, quickly, let me take you back to those alleged SAS operatives you talked about. Are you sure those guys were members of the police or they were just hoodlums camouflaging?
I don't know. I don't know, my dear. That's why I'm very, very surprised because they have their ID card, they have their double magazine gun. You know that the only people who go that. If not, I don't know the other whether the e-crack to don't normally go out with a double magazine and all the rest. But these very people have their past name and everything. So it's just what happened.
All right. All right, thanks for sharing.
These people, they should go and caution those people. So they are really disturbing. The other time I was passing in the morning, they have jammed one girl that was coming for work. So the guy was there crying, give me money, let me go and treat myself. So I came there, the guy was wanting to fight me there. So it wasn't easy. It was out of force that guy got out 500 naira. Let that guy go and treat himself.
All right. Thanks for sharing with us. Regards this keke riders, I understand that they've been banned from major highways. But what I saw at Location Junction, I don't know if you know that if you do this, you will get in trouble, but they will still do it. It's unfortunate that some Nigerians would also still patronize them, knowing fully well that you're supposed to walk to a certain place so you can take keke. But some of these keke guys, I think there's this event center. If you're going into Shell location, you're trying to access New Road, Road 1, Road 2, and the rest of it, You're supposed to walk towards that event center and then board a keke and go to wherever it is you're going to. But no, these keke guys will live there, drive back to that location, and when they're driving, you see them struggling with themselves, looking around, being scared that someone might just apprehend them. But you know you're not supposed to do it. They will still do it, and they'll just be driving helter-skelter. And in the process, if you hit somebody now, you will kill somebody because you will not just listen and hear word. 95.1 FM. Good evening. So please, for those of you patronizing those keke guys that are moving towards where they are not supposed to be, please stop. Desist from it because you're the ones encouraging them. And well, thank God there's task force now. I'm sure that would help most of these keke guys. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you. I'm good. Thank you. Welcome.
Happy New Year.
You too.
Yeah, the issue of the task force that has been inaugurated today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to commend the governor for his kind gesture. The governor actually meant well for this state. It's a drive. There was a guy drive from Waterlines to Garrison. I didn't even know that I've gotten to Garrison. Everywhere was just me. But my concern is that I want this task force to be decorum in their service. They should know that they are serving it. And they should not behave like the other task force group that were inhuman. And I also want to let them know that Rumokoro, the governor will not walk that flyover and then probably tie that road, and then they use that road for market. Anybody that is supporting that is an enemy of River State. The governor will fix a road, and then just for the road to be. You know that some part of River State, initially, this state has become a garbage city. But by the grace of God, some parts of River State now is getting a new leaf. Do you understand? Now, the Rumokoro Azi, the governor should not allow some of your callers to say, what would they feed on? But must you feed on the road? Must you feed from the road? If not the curfew that the governor placed on Rumokoro Azi, from that UBA bank to almost close to that bridge after the market, everywhere has been taken over by this market.
But you know, if we want to talk about what they would feed on, as much as I completely agree with the River State government that street trading is illegal and it is you are risking your life in the process, and I've always discouraged that. I would also be expecting that the River State government would do something about the amount they pay for stores in markets. I was made to understand that these amounts are outrageous and very expensive, and you have to know somebody that knows somebody to get a store in the market. So I believe while you're pushing them out of the street for their good and the good of the state, you should also make arrangements to accommodate them in the market to make these stores and spaces for them to trade affordable.
Yes, I agree with you, but you know that we have a market. I'm calling from Rumo Lumini now. We have a market at this Rumo Lumini at Big 3 precisely, where they call Big 3, right? Before St. John, right? If you go, if by tomorrow, come there, you will check inside that market. The market is inside that market is empty, but these women have covered the road.
And then task force would visit that market. So let us even remind them to start from there.
You understand?
I do.
The market, inside the market, check inside, is empty, but you see the traders along the road, cover the road, with glitter everywhere we get. River State government should not take it this time. The road should be clear. These women should leave the road. And then including the Rumokoro Azi, he shouldn't fix that flyover and fix the road and then allow these women to live everywhere with their vegetable and whatever.
All right, thank you so much. So women, please do not litter that Rumokoro road. It's too fine to be littered. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, Buchi.
Welcome.
Yes, I'm Adamanyongo Power calling from Akabechi.
Good to have you on the program.
Yes, I want to talk on the task force newly formed.
Okay.
you know that name task force has a connotation of being bullied. I get what I'm saying. They would have looked at other names to give to them, a minor name,
like
maintenance group, or agency. Just a name that is not having that name task force has a very big connotation. You may not understand what I'm saying, because you want people to blow their wings out. So we are task force, we are told that's and again too.
what?
Yes, hello?
Is it about the name, or I don't understand?
You know that name has some something to do with the person's character. If they say you are army, that's the behavior. If they say you are a pastor, that's how you behave. No, name has something to do with the person's character.
Okay.
And again too. And they're supposed to, the constitution supposed to cut across the local government, so that when they are there, they know whether this man is from Eki or this one. And it will not be one-sided, because if it is from one-sided, Obiabo, Port Harcourt only, they have the tendency to intimidate other people from other local governments. But if all members are from nearly all the local governments, it will be sanitized. They will know what is happening. There will be no sort of intimidation. I get what I'm saying.
I'm listening.
If I am to advise, I would have said remove that name task force and give them a lighter name, so that they behave like human beings. Task force. You go to the...
Oh dear, I'm sorry. I thought we were done. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Buchi.
Good evening to you. Welcome to Area Talk. How you doing?
Yes, I'm good. All
right.
Anyway, yes, this is Daniel. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Welcome, Dan.
Yes. For me, the advice I want to give to most of our callers on the radio is like they are complaining of the tax force. You understand? Yes. Because
first off, Dan, are you a member of the tax force?
No, I'm not a member of the tax force.
Okay.
But at least I drive in this town, like I drive it my private car.
Okay.
And I know what the taxi-men are doing and the keke riders. But this is the only state I've seen if the government give a kind of order. Please don't do like this from this date to this date. I'm going to don't do like this. You hear people say, they will do. And now they are scared of tax force. So for me, tax force is not coming to chase anybody. If you behave well, like I've been driving in this town, I've never seen a day tax force that will cross me, that they are carrying my car. Although I'm not a taxi man, but as a road user, I know where to park and I know where not to park.
Yeah.
So I can't be here and be scared of a tax force. Let them come. Me, I've been expecting the tax force, because the way these guys are doing in these roads, these keke riders and taxi drivers, is too annoying. Tax force, I'm welcoming them. That's my own thing.
Yes. Thank you so much for the welcome. That was beautiful. This person says, Buchi, tax force on illegal parks markets is back in Port Harcourt. However, can they also set up one in Agberu and one on Agberu and Towton? The way criminality would be reduced on the streets and society in general. Okay, you're saying since tax force is available, good. You think there should also be a group of persons that are managing Agberu and Tout. Is that what you mean by what you sent? Please let me know if that's actually what you meant. This person says, Happy New Year, Buchi. Happy New Year to you too. I didn't see the new tax force in Diob area today. They need to come to sanitize, or maybe you meant sensitize some parts of Diobo. That's coming from Joe from one in Diob. Okay, so Diobo needs to be sanitized from all these illegal motor parks and treat. You see, lots of persons, there's a whole lot of reasons why we need tax force here in River State. Don't you agree? At 5.1 FM. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
You too.
Yeah, my name is Chris Chris. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Welcome, Chris. Good to have you on the program.
Yeah. This task force, let me dwell on task force. This task force that they are inaugurating and be doing, can you or anyone, can anybody point out one good thing that this task force have brought to River State? Except killing some. You know how many people?
Hello.
I'm hearing you. Yes, allow me to talk the truth.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
Let me say something. You know how many people that died, lost their life because of task force? For example, let me talk this thing. If I am a soldier, maybe I come back from work I let me go and check my mom that has selling. Forget about whether she caused obstruction, she do this, and a task force, and I am there with my uniform to see with my rifle. A task force come there, maybe all this in the way that you used to behave. You slap my mother. What do you think I would do? Should I clap for the task force? What do you think I go do that task force?
But why would they just sit down and just attack somebody?
That is what we are asking. If they ask you to go and clear people on the road, is it the reason why what will give you power to slap a married woman, somebody's wife, because he's selling on the road? You have not seen these boys before. Somebody will be telling someone's wife, you are a disgrace, you're mad, I go bust your head. If I am the husband, I am a soldier, maybe with my rifle, I come there to wait small or to see after my family. You slap my wife in my front, and I'm with a rifle. What do you think that will happen to that person?
Well, exactly what did your wife or your mother do that made them attack? Because I don't think these guys would be that mad that you will not do anything. They'll just jump up and say they're crazy, they're mad.
I know what I'm saying, You have not met these boys before. If you have met them, not name that they will not call you. Even you there, if you meet them, either maybe one thing or the other, they will call you names that will provoke you. So I say, if I am a false man...
But what I'm saying is that you have to do something that would make them talk to you in that manner. Like the other caller called in and said, they have never harassed him for one day all his life that he's been in River State because he hasn't flouted anything.
See, Gucci, if anybody is telling you that the way these boys are operating, check that person very well. It's either is benefiting from the... If you are telling me that the way these boys operate, somebody you will just ask ordinary question just to gather people's goods, they started slapping. You have not heard them slapping people's wives before. Is it what the person is telling me?
Okay.
Me, I meet them standing and I say, assuming that I am a first man, maybe I'm there resting and maybe taking to some of them with my wife. You just come there, slap my wife, and I with rifle with uniform. What do you think that will happen to that title? That's what I'm asking. Or my age mother that are coming back from market, or she went to market. All these things they used to do in Igrita. You push my age mother down. My age mother called me. I reached there with my rifle. What do you think will happen to those assholes?
All right, I get your point. Thank you so much for calling in 95.1 FM. Good evening. Good evening. I'm good, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, and I want to tell the last caller that you don't need to be a first man.
What's your name, please?
My name is Digo Digo.
Okay, welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah. You don't need to be a first man or a personnel for you to do something to those people.
Hello?
Your mode of operation is highly responsible. Are you hearing me?
I can hear you.
I was at Eneka some time ago when one of the trucks hit a guy that is selling belts. You know, the guy was carrying the belt on the way about. They hit the guy fell down, and the tire of the hillock caught the guy's leg, and he started bleeding. And they left him on the ground, and the guy was screaming and shouting. By the time we got there, they made away with the guy's belt, and we started to push it up. You see, one thing about these boys is that they don't really train them well or select the best people. I think they gather most of these, what do they call them? There's a name they normally call such hoodlums, and put them to be part of this task force in this River State. I'm telling you honest truth. Whether they put people, they can never do the right thing. They can never. Just give them 2-3 months now. They will go back to their a pig is a pig. Whether you bring the pig out of the mud, clean back, get the dog with the toe and whatever.
Why do we so distrust? Why do we have this much distrust for the task force in River State? Are you there? Okay, we lost it. Oh, it's even time. We have to go now. Well, let me take this person's message. Says Buchi, for those people that were saying there is no project in other local governments, they will hide their face in shame when the governor will begin to commission projects. And that's coming from Chris. Chris, well, if that's how you want to see it, I guess they should already start hiding their faces in shame because the project commissioning has started. They've started with our local government. But I don't think it's a thing of anybody trying to talk bad of the government. I guess some persons are just saying it's based on how they feel and how it's affecting them. So it's not a thing of being shameful. They want you to commission projects. That's why they are complaining. Imagine everybody's keeping quiet about everything that they feel has been happening. You think anybody will be pushed to do anything? Just a question, Chris. Thank you so much for being a part of Area Talk. For all those that sent their messages, those still calling now, and those that have called during the course of the program, thank you very much for being a part of it. Tomorrow, we will be here, same time, same station, and with the same me. Yeah, you're stuck with me. I'm stuck with you as well. The world news comes up. That's the world today. Comes up shortly. And then by 9 o'clock, it's Opinion Poll with Dave. And by 10, the world news here on Today 95.1 FM. So stay with us because all the programs are packed to be very, promises rather, to be very interesting, highly interactive, educative, and trust me, it's something you'd want to be a part of. My name is Buchira Fa. Like I said, have a pleasant evening and do stay with us.
Is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today 95.1 FM.
Good evening. This is Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people, and it is time again for a rundown of the foreign news stories that made the headlines on the world today. In our packet tonight, Egypt investigates accusations of oxygen shortage.
Schools in Kenya reopen after 9 months of COVID-19 closure.
In South Africa to get virus vaccines next month.
Three Algerian soldiers killed in anti-terror operation.
Trump tells Georgia election officials to find votes to overturn Biden win. I am Buchira Fa.
And I am Dave Roberts.
Islamist insurgents in northern Mozambique are reported to have attacked a village inside the site of a major gas project run by the French energy company Total. The security forces were reported to have beaten back
States for reopening schools across March last year after the country reported its first case of the virus. Since then, more than 50,000 cases have been confirmed, with over 54,000 recoveries and more than 300 deaths. In an address, President Akufo-Addo said that tertiary institutions will reopen on January 9th, while primary and secondary schools will reopen on January 15th. He said the decision was based on the successful phased reopening of some sections of tertiary institutions last year. The government said it will supply all learning institutions with protective gears, including face masks. Mass gatherings and sporting activities remain banned, and the country's land and sea borders remain shut. Ghana has been able to slow down the spread of the virus, but there are fears of a second wave of the coronavirus infections.
Meanwhile, in Kenya, millions of both primary and secondary school children returning to school. Final year students had resumed in-person learning in October, but took a short break over the festive season. The Ministry of Education has issued guidelines aimed at preventing the spread of coronavirus. These include urging teachers to utilize every available space, including learning on the trees, to ensure social distancing. And parents have been asked to buy face masks for their children, and the government promised to distribute some to nearby students. Teachers aged over 58 years and those with pre-existing conditions have been asked to work remotely or teach in open spaces. President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday extended the night curfew for 3 more months. The country has recorded more than 96,000 cases of the virus, including 1,006.
Yeah. Mkize said that the government had so far secured enough doses to immunize 10% of the population. He further noted that the government was negotiating with all vaccine manufacturers as well as companies willing to make vaccines available sooner. South Africa is the first country on the continent to register more than 1 million COVID-19 cases.
Head of Al Husseiniya Hospital in the governorate of Sharqiya have been summoned for questioning by local prosecutors, but the Egyptian officials have denied the report, saying the patients died because of existing chronic conditions and not lack of oxygen. With a similar incident reported at another hospital, Egyptians have accused their government of failing to do enough to combat the pandemic, with the number of cases doubling in the past 2 weeks.
Now to Algeria, where at least 3 Algerian soldiers have been killed in an ongoing anti-terror operation in the northern Tipaza region. Algeria's defense ministry said operation started when the first 2 soldiers and 4 terrorists were killed. Later on, 1 more soldier was killed together with other 2 militants. The counter-terrorism operation is aimed at flushing out militants from the Tipaza region of Algeria. This is Still the World Today on your premium talk, news and sports station, Today95.1 FM. After the break, more stories. Stay tuned.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Welcome back. This is Still the World Today on your premium talk, news and sports station, Today 95.1 FM. Away from Africa to the rest of the world, where in London, a court has ruled that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange cannot be extradited to the United States. The judge blocked the request because of concerns over Assange's mental health and risk of suicide in the US. The 49-year-old is wanted over the publication of thousands of classified documents in 2010 and 2011. The US claims the leaks broke the law and endangered lives. Assange has fought the extradition and says the case is politically motivated. The US authorities have 14 days in which to lodge an appeal, and they are expected to do so. Assange will now be taken back to the Belmarsh prison, where he has been held and has a full application for his bail, and it will immediately be made on Wednesday. His lawyer, Ed Fitzgerald, QC, told the court that there will be evidence to show Assange will not abscond.
And now in France, the French president has defended its coronavirus vaccination policy against criticism that it is going far too slowly, with just 516 vaccinations reported in the first week. The government spokesman, Gabriel Attal, said the delay was down to logistics, which required the teams to visit elderly people in care homes and get each person's consent. Attal said the government was following scientific advice, prioritizing the elderly in care homes. The European Union began vaccinating with Pfizer-BioNTech doses on December 27. The United Kingdom has become the first country in the world to start giving people the Oxford AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine. About 1 million people have already been vaccinated with the Pfizer-BioNTech drug in the UK. Meanwhile, France is amongst Europe's hardest hit countries in the pandemic, with its COVID-19 death toll so far at 65,037, just behind Italy and the UK.
Now to the US, where US President Donald Trump has been recorded telling Georgia's top election official to find enough votes to overturn the election result. In a recording released by the Washington Post, Trump could be heard telling Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find more than 11,000 votes to overturn the election result. Raffensperger is also heard replying that Georgia's results are correct. Joe Biden won the Georgia's result alongside other swing states, winning 306 electoral college votes to Trump's 232. This comes ahead of a crucial runoff elections in Georgia tomorrow that will decide which party controls the Senate.
Iran has resumed enriching uranium to 20% purity in its most significant breach yet of the 2015 nuclear deal. Government spokesperson Ali Rabai said the process had started at the underground Fordo government spokesman Ali Rabai. Enriched uranium can be used to make reactor fuel, but also nuclear bombs. Iran, which insists that its nuclear program is peaceful, has rolled back a number of key commitments under the deal in retaliation for U.S. sanctions. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Iran's decision could not be explained in any way except as continued realization of its intention to develop a military nuclear program. A government spokesperson for the said President Hassan Rouhani had ordered the move because he was bound by a new law requiring the production and storage of at least 120 kilograms of 20% enriched uranium annually for peaceful purposes. Iran's parliament passed the law following the assassination in late November of the country's top nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, which Iranian leaders blamed on Israel.
In Pakistan, hundreds of Pakistani minority Shiite earlier today blocked a key highway on the outskirts of the southwestern Pakistani city of Quetta for a second day to protest the killing of 11 coal miners by the Islamic State group. The miners are said to be members of the country's minority Shiite Hazara community, were abducted by IS militants in the southwestern Baluchistan province and taken to a nearby mountain where they were killed. 6 died at the scene and 5 critically wounded died on the way to the hospital. Police video of the bodies revealed how the miners were blindfolded and had their hands tied behind their backs before being shot. The attack took place near the Mark Coal field, about 48 kilometers east of Quetta, the capital of Baluchistan. IS has claimed responsibility shortly after the abduction of the miners. The protesters brought the coffins with the miners' bodies to the Quetta highway earlier today, insisting that they would not be buried until authorities arrest the killers. Under Islamic tradition, burials take place as quickly as possible after death, but the crowd of about 1,000 said it would be held to sit in until their demands are met. Meanwhile, authorities say they are still trying to trace and arrest the assailant and that the police raids were underway in the area.
And that story from Pakistan concludes tonight's edition of The World Today, is produced by Stella Sassungo of the News Department. Well, before we go, here are the stories that made the headlines. Egypt is investigating death of COVID-19 patients following accusations of oxygen shortage.
Schools in Kenya are set to reopen after 9 months of COVID-19 closure.
And South Africa is hoping to get the COVID-19 vaccine next month.
At least 3 Algerian soldiers have been killed in an anti-terror operation.
We also told you that U.S. President Donald Trump has asked Georgia election officials to find votes to overturn Joe Biden's win.
Till same time tomorrow, do have a lovely evening. But before we go, we'll hand you over to BBC Focus Africa. My name is Dave Roberts and she is
Buchira Fua.
Have a good evening.
BBC World Service, I'm Bola Mosuru in Kent with Focus on Africa. South Africa's Young Nurses Union welcomed new regulations to stem the tide of 1 million plus COVID cases, but appeal to compatriots to adhere to the new rules.
We are begging our citizens because some of them have been misled by the conspiracy theories. Others still believe that COVID-19 doesn't exist. People only believe it when it happens to them.
Nigerian scientists speak of a new variant of the virus. We hope to speak to the head of the presidential COVID task force. Plus, we review events in Mali in 2020.
And I'm Nishat Lada in sport. South Africa's cricketers seal a comprehensive win over Sri Lanka. Plus, action continues in the English Premier League.
South Africans are coming to grips with the new regulations, including a new 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, which was imposed yesterday. President Ramaphosa, in addressing the nation last night, said with more than 1 million coronavirus cases and more than 27,000 deaths, the nation had very little cause for celebration. The new year, therefore, would be ushered in a very different way, in a somber mood. Among the other new restrictions, indoor and outdoor gatherings have been banned for the next fortnight, and the sale of alcohol too. With hospitals in many provinces close to capacity, the president noted that healthcare workers are exhausted and stretched to their limit. Well, someone who's seen the toll it's taken is Rich Siklina, who's the General Secretary of South Africa's Young Nurses Trade Union.
We welcome the new measures, particularly banning the gatherings and also the selling of alcohol. Remember, our healthcare system already is under strain, and more often than not, people who just disregard the regulations of COVID-19 regulations, they drink and drive, they cause accidents on the road, and as a result, they overcrowd our emergency department wards.
We know that already your hospitals, many of the wards have been stretched. Can you explain a bit, if you can paint a picture of what the nurses and doctors have been contending with in the hospitals, please?
Our hospitals are always full, even under normal circumstances. What we usually face at the moment, more especially during this pandemic, the influx of patients who come to our facilities. We decided to open wards that are going to admit strictly patients under investigations and also those who are COVID-19 positive. As a result, we find ourselves having patients who are going to test positive, and they are all over the place. Our emergency department, it's crazy. There's no social distance there. There is no social distance. It's a patient next to the other. We go as far as have to create floor beds.
Did you say you have to create floor beds?
Yes, we do. We create floor beds.
We spoke to the health minister setting up field hospitals.
They usually wait until we complain and say wards are overflowing. We find ourselves in a case 22 situation beds. That is where you will find nurses in ICU. We are nursing 3% as a nurse in ICU. We are supposed to nurse only one. Yes, we do have beds, but in terms of human resource, we don't have capacity.
Rich, yesterday we were talking to our correspondent who is in Johannesburg, and she said that a lot of health workers, both doctors and nurses and others working within the hospitals, have been sharing messages on WhatsApp and on social media with the general public to say, look, this situation is real, this threat is real. How is it they're still not getting through to people? And what would you say right now to fellow South Africans about these measures and what they should do?
We are begging. We are begging our citizens. I was even saying, unfortunately, theories that have been out there. Others still believe that COVID-19 doesn't exist. Others are saying, I've never heard anyone who passed on because of COVID-19 related illnesses. People only believe it when it happens to them. That is what we are trying to avoid, and we are trying to say to the general public, don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until you bury your own mother or your own relative. Just respect these regulations. All these measures are only temporal. And the most painful part about this is that if, as frontline workers, as healthcare professionals, you can be as disciplined as you can in your own particular space. But unfortunately, we are still going to be thrown into that deep end in your hospital where there's even no proper PPE.
And he is the head of the Secretary General of the Young Nurses in South Africa, Rich Sitina.
All right, there's been lots of challenge with the virus currently in South Africa. Now he's talking about beds unavailable where they have to make use of something on the ground, just like a makeshift something for them to cater for patients. And he's not the only one worried about it. The health secretary, that's Matt Hancock, earlier today, he said he was incredibly worried about the South African variant of this particular coronavirus, as it may not work against it. This particular mutant is thought to be already in the UK, like we all know. But Hancock said earlier that he's really worried about this particular mutant, and he said that's actually why they took the action that they did, as to restricting all flights from South Africa and the movement from South Africa, and to also insist that anybody who's been to South Africa should self-isolate. It's a very, very, very serious deal over there in South Africa. And their challenge didn't just start today. Back then, when they were talking about youth exposing themselves while they were trying to manage the spread of this particular virus, even before the variant was discovered, most persons took it for granted. And I'm stating and restating this again because of we here in Nigeria. You see, the challenge they are going through currently, it's becoming really overwhelming with every guidelines that have been put in place by the government of South Africa. It's still spreading like wildfire. So like I said, I'm restating this because of we in Nigeria. We tend to take things for granted. For those that bring up the theory of, we are blacks and it wouldn't get to us. It just feel like it's malaria on us. Think of South Africa. It's also within Africa. Even if you want to bring up the excuse of their weather conditions, and majority of, not majority, or some persons, they're sort of mixed up, white, black, and the rest of it. And while we over here, we are completely black. But I don't think you should wait till that point where you have to see it happen. It has to happen to you before you know that we are not particularly immune against this particular virus. It's really unfortunate what's happening in South Africa. And one key thing you should also be aware of is that earlier, before this new variant was discovered, that's in the beginning of the second wave, it was actually more rampant amongst youth. So it's not just for the elderly. For this particular variant. So please beware. Like I said, I am restating and emphasizing that we take caution and we be cautious about what we do and how we do what we do, so we do not go into a lockdown. And lockdown is like just the primary problem we will be facing. The worst is that people might die if we don't stick to these guidelines. We'll head back to the BBC.
Now, while South Africa is dealing with the ravages of the second wave and new variant, Nigerian scientists are trying to understand a new strain that has been discovered there. According to the African Centre of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases, a new variant that was uncovered is believed to be distinct from the South African and UK variants, which have caused a significant spike in numbers in both countries. Well, there are nearly 85,000 cases in Nigeria, and a surge in numbers led to the Presidential Task Force last week introducing a series of new measures ahead of the festive period. Joining us now is Dr. Babatunde Lawal Salako, who's head of Nigeria's task force against COVID-19. Good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for joining us. How significant is this increase in the country?
Good afternoon. I'm Director General Nigerian Sub-Medical Research. Now, we've noticed recently in the last 3 weeks that the daily cases of COVID-19 have started rising, and we have reached more than 1,000 a day, which had never happened before. showing that the infection is raging now at the second wave, and having Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna as major leading cities.
With this new, as you say, the new upsurge, which is a lot of cases as you speak of, is it just because of the festive period that you feel people have been rather lax in the way they've adhered to the regulations? Because I know you were telling people celebrate cautiously, or is it actually because of this new variant that you feel the numbers are now increasing?
Well, we didn't think it's because of the new variant. Some time ago, our cases started going down, and so a lot of people became very relaxed in their use of the non-pharmacological interventions. In social gatherings, people jettison the use of masks, hand sanitizers, and all of that. And follow that is the NSAS issues that came, where a lot of people came together and without any regards for the MPIs. So soon after that, we started seeing the increase in number. However, because we think that the festivity is going to encourage a lot of movement across the country, and a lot of people will go from city to their villages and vice versa, we feel that may worsen the already case that we have. And that's why government is being proactive to ensure that they started to talk about the use of MPIs so that we can control the spread of the disease.
And I know, Dr. Salako, I know that you have called for people to celebrate responsibly. Mass gatherings have been prevented, and you're also telling people not to gather in certain places. Why, though, when you're talking about things like the NSARS, for instance, which you say has led to a burst, this new increase that we're talking about, 1,000 a day, happened in the past few weeks. NSARS protests ended, as we know, a couple of months ago. So surely, is this not something also? Why are you discounting it might be this new strain, which we hear the ACE-GID organization, Excellence Center, has detected?
Yeah, it's possible. I'm just telling you the story, how we gradually moved from less than 200 to 1,000, and trying to find reasons why this happened. It was after that we started talking about the new strain. And the one that has been found in Nigeria is yet to be fully studied. What we've seen is just some changes in amino acids, and that has not really given us the full genomic picture that we needed to see to be able to determine whether this has conferred on the strain the ability to become more effective or more virulent. So what we are doing now is putting the samples we get from the second wave together, and then we'll sequence them and look out for these new strains, and also look out for the strains of the UK or the South African strain.
And I know the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research is investigating these samples that you talk about to detect this new strain. There have also been calls by some politicians that because of the variant in South Africa and UK, that flights to those nations or from those nations should be banned. Are you recommending or agreeing the same?
Well, not quite. We believe that we need to have scientific evidence for us to be able to take such a very big decision, because we know the effect on our economy, the first lockdown that we had on international flights, and also within the country itself. And right now, we seem to be in some kind of economic recession. So the government is studying the situation very critically, so that at the appropriate time, if need be, these measures may be taken. But for now, we are studying the situation.
Dr. Salako, thank you very much for joining us, and he's the Director General within the Nigerian Task Force Against COVID-19. You're listening to Focus on Africa, and now with the time at 15:17 GMT exactly, we have a roundup of other stories making news across the continent with Veronique Edwards.
Thank you, Bola. We go first to Zambia after 4 Zambian trucks have been set alight in South Africa in the recent wave of violent protest against foreign truck drivers. Alex Mali, a Zambian truck driver, had this to tell me what happened when he was there.
I was gunshot in my left arm. It was in the night on the border going back to Zambia. Yes, that's where it was happening. We load ammonium nitrate for explosive from South Africa to mines there in Zambia. I managed to drive up to 15 kilometers and I found the police officer with firefighters. There was a truck which was bent there. That's where I went to stop there and report to the police. And the police took me to the hospital where I spent the 5 days in the hospital in South Africa there. They say the fallen truck drivers dominate about the 80%.
Who had been hiding inside an Italian embassy for nearly 30 years have had their sentences commuted, meaning they are likely to finally leave. 2 were patrolled on Thursday in the longest diplomatic asylum saga in history. The pair were convicted of genocide in absentia in 2006 and sentenced to death for their role in the mass killings of Mengistu's opponents. And finally, a meeting of a president and his predecessor is very rare in Malawi, especially if the president took power after defeating his predecessor, which is why the decision by Malawi's president, Lazarus Chakwera, to pay a visit to the man he defeated for the top job, Peter.
Amongst those playing are Arsenal. Now they're at Brighton, and Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has confirmed that his Ghanaian midfielder Thomas Partey is still out injured. And Zimbabwe's preparations for next month's African Nations Championship, or CHAN, this taking place in Cameroon, have been dealt a blow. 9 of their 23-man squad who've been at a training camp have tested positive for coronavirus. That is all the sport for now. Bola.
Thanks very much, Nishad.
Oh, yeah, lots of questions regards the issue in Nigeria and the new variant that has not been fully discovered. Still boils down to each and every one of us sticking to the protocols. But then when you think about the last protest, that's the hashtag #EndSARS protest that took place in 2020, sometime around October, you get to wonder, was the variant around back then? Because nothing much was said regards COVID-19 back then. And knowing fully well that with how the COVID-19 is spreading currently in Nigeria, we recently recorded about 1,000. And then you'll ask yourself, what happened during when people were clustered to stop the hashtag #EndSARS protest so to avoid the spread of COVID-19? You know, people get to think of things like this and wonder exactly what is going on. But recently, after the UK talked about the new variant, South Africa talked about the new variant, we also started talking about the new variant and the second wave. Now, these and many more things people ask themselves, and unfortunately, some persons just stoop to the point of, I don't believe anything. But no matter the question, no matter your calculation, no matter the putting of one or two together and trying to make sense out of some certain things, the bottom line is COVID-19 is around. And we have a new variant. We've seen the variant similar to the one at South Africa, but there's still another new one here in Nigeria that, like you heard, has not been fully discovered. We don't know how it works or how it operates, basically. But like I would always say, forever until we're done with this issue of COVID-19 is do not wait for it to get to you before you start thinking of it. Take the necessary precautions, take the necessary guidelines, and stay safe. We'll get back to the BBC Focus on Africa.
Now, political and military leaders in Mali have been trying to forge a new beginning for the country since the ousting of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta some 4 months ago. The ongoing transition is supposed to lead to democratic elections being held 18 months from the day they assumed office. So how has the process gone so far? Journalist Mohammed Golfer reports from Bamako.
That was the voice of the Malian singer and songwriter Salif Keita calling on former President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita to resign in November last year in a video that went viral on social media. His voice was echoed by that of firebrand Islamic cleric Imam Mahmoud Diko on June the 5th this year, also calling on President Keita to resign. With those voices, the M5 RFP movement, a coalition of various political parties, human rights activists, and religious leaders, was born. The movement staged protests for months. Violence ensued, with protesters and government institutions bearing the brunt of the attacks. Scores of protesters were killed. Government buildings were ransacked, vandalized, and burnt in the process. The military intervened and ousted Ibrahim Boubacar Keita from power. In bringing security and stability to Mali, I have been hearing from Malians.
Okay, actuellement, mon point de vue, vu la situation du pays.
My point of view about the situation in the country is that the transitional government is doing well, despite some obstacles. I don't see much fault in them.
La transition, vraiment, ils n'ont pas de défaut pour le moment.
I don't like the change of government. I prefer the former regime. There is insecurity in our villages. We can't go to our farms and we don't have food.
Come to another businessman here at the Central Market of Bamako. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
What is your name, please?
My name is Mr. Kone Mamadou.
What do you sell?
I'm selling
electronics. What do you think about the new government?
For the new government, I think is very good because the country is top for the president. I think information I get about him is very good for the future.
In recent days, a deluge of criticism has been emerging from the opposition. The recent appointment of 13 military men as regional governors has stoked the fires. Soya Jige is a member of the strategic committee of the M5 RFP.
In all honesty, we still have a few problems with the way things are going. We still have social problems. There are general strikes within the administration this week. Corruption is still rampant, and the people who killed our martyrs, 23 of them, are still not brought to justice. So we think it's about time that the government really start looking into the right directions and responding to people's demand of good governance and bringing justice to those that were killed.
With Farabougou and Nyono in the center of the country still under jihadist threat, many Malians are asking if the junta will be able to arrest the deteriorating security situation, fight corruption, impunity, and restore good governance in the country. Idrissa Fane, a former civil servant, is one of them.
One can say that this transition is bound to fail. The establishment of the National Transition Council, which was set up unilaterally, which has raised lots of questions among all the political class, including the M5 RFP, even the press, the civil society. How can you lead a transition if you have all those people on your back? It's not a very good thing to ignore their calls, to ignore their complaints. In addition to that, you have a social front that is boiling, with unions staging strikes.
The country has struggled to maintain stability since 2012, following the emergence of Tuareg rebels and armed groups in the north of the country. Insecurity is one of the main reasons Ibrahim Boubacar Keita was ousted, alongside poor economic performance and corruption. The next few months will be crucial in determining whether the country will achieve stability and get closer to some semblance of democracy and stability.
And that was Mohamed Golfa reporting from Bamako. Now, Reporters Without Borders, or RSF, has released its latest report, which says some 50 journalists and media workers were killed around the world in connection with their work in this year of 2020. A majority of these were in countries that aren't at war. While Pauline Adesmebel is the editor-in-chief of the French-based RSF, and she told me how the continent fared in terms of journalist safety.
The African continent was very much concerned with the first part of our report on detained journalists, and also in general for being a place where journalists were prevented to do their job in proper conditions during the pandemic, so since roughly the beginning of the year. Regarding the number of killed journalists, the African continent is not at the top and is not the deadliest place in the world for killing journalists. So this is a good point. But the situation is not good. Just as we speak now, we are calling on the Somalian authorities to release 2 journalists who have been arrested. I mean, on a daily basis, of course, we have to unfortunately deplore some attacks and infringement on press freedom.
And Somalia isn't the only country, though, we know on the continent that is seen to be one of the worst. But there are a number of other countries too. Just yesterday we were hearing about attacks and infringements on the work of journalists in Uganda. Are there other countries also which are in your radar?
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, we have to deplore a lot of abuses or arbitrary arrests on the continent. So just to give an idea, the problems, the difficulties of journalists on the African continent were 3 times higher between March 2020 and May 2020 compared to the previous years, March 2019 to May 2019. So within these 3 months, at a time of the pandemic where journalists were supposedly less covering stories, less on the field, they were much more prevented to do their job or arrested or put in jail.
Now, your report talks about the deliberate targeting of journalists on the continent. How is that manifest? How is that done?
In fact, one of the findings of this report is that journalists are not victims anymore. They are not dying in a war zone. They are targeted because they investigate, because they disturb, and because they reveal information that are not those that some governments would like to see published.
And that was speaking to me earlier, the editor-in-chief of the French-based RSF, Reporters Without Frontiers, Pauline Addis-Merville. And you've been listening to Focus on Africa. We'll be back with the next edition at 1700 GMT. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, Africa Today, the best African news stories from across the BBC, delivered to you every day straight to your phone. And a comment here on our top story from South Africa after President Ramaphosa's speech. And Tombi, who's in South Africa, said, "My president gave us a very emotional speech. I nearly cried. It's not easy to be in his shoes at these trying times." But speaking of a new variant, as we've been hearing, in relation to a story we posted about the new Nigerian and South African variants not being compared, according to a leading Biose master said, "Why is it Nigerian and South African variants? We should stop this propaganda." So somebody who clearly doesn't believe.
All right, so there are lots of persons who doesn't believe, but with what's happening at Mali, we'll just quickly use that to wrap up the program. Well, they actually promised sometime last year, I remember clearly, they said that the coup leaders promised to respect international agreements in fighting jihadists. And you know, the funny and interesting part of the coup that took place at Mali is that it was said that most of the persons cheering this coup are within Mali, and most of those upset about this coup and predicting some sort of doom regards this whatever regime takes stand or takes lead in Mali. Well, they are neighbors of Mali, and it's interesting how people outside feel that what's going on inside is not right. Meanwhile, the people within saying they are cool and they are happy with this regime. But, well, it's always relative with how you see certain things. It depends on where it favors you and where it doesn't favor you. But I believe that all we look forward is to see that Mali moves on, because there's been lots of coup since 2012. They've been having several issues, but we just hope that they'll be able to move on, and this particular administration would help them take them to that point at which they ought to be, and help mitigate the suffering and backwardness they currently are facing. But to wrap it up, I would love to just remind you to stick to the COVID-19 guidelines and protocols and stay safe. Well, if you call it South Africa and Nigeria variant or the UK variant, whatever name you want to call it. If you think it's a propaganda, just try and stay safe and keep every other person around you safe, and so it doesn't come close to you. And if you want to keep calling it a propaganda, well, I really don't know what else to say, but just stay safe and stick to the guidelines. That's the best way to help yourself and each and every one of us. To have a lovely evening. Shortly will be Opinion Poll with Dave. I am Buchira Foa. To stay tuned.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
it. Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Live from the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. This is Today 95.1 FM.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
I am a proud Nigerian. I have been placed here by God for a time such as this.
At my back, I ain't coming back.
The degradation, challenges, and problems faced by Nigeria are the perfect backdrop for me to develop and utilize my God-given potential.
I will not complain. I will not criticize. Rather, I will use my skills, gifts, relationships,
and experience to find long-lasting and revolutionary solutions to the many challenges confronting Nigeria.
Nigeria will rise again.
Because I am here, I will leave this nation
a better place than I met it. I will work to make Nigeria a praise on the earth.
Make Nigeria.
Let me tell you how I got this far.
This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
Officer, take. Officer, give me number. No time. Ma dey match am. They go.
What? You bribing the officer of the law? You under arrest. Let me see your papers. You can go. They're in order. Drive safe, okay?
I don't understand though. No be the same country again. Officer reject bribe. They arrested me yesterday. That yesterday, I go do my papers. See as I pass now. I pass without fear. You too, make you do wetin dey right. For we country to better, it dey for we hand. If you like, do like say you no hear am. To give or to take bribe, na offense.
Una don hear am, abi? You hear am too, abi? You hear am. You hear am well. They themselves, they hear am. Now the voice of the people. Now him bring this message give now. Today 95.1 FM. Now we be the voice of the people.
and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
This president's failed.
It's about the future of this country.
We're going to take it back. We're going to take it back.
You asked us to vote you into that position so you can bring about that
solution.
So when you vote me, then you sleep.
Let me see if I can take another phone call. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
What makes a policeman to be able to feed is the gun he is holding. They use their gun to extort money from people.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
No longer news that we are truly the voice of the people.
Am I not a slave in Nigeria?
I refuse if you're a slave.
Let's not get to that now. So the Nigerian constitution. Frog is philosophizing.
You spot the difference now?
Every day on Today 95.1 FM, there's always an opportunity to comment and air your views on our various programs. It's not just about us. It's about you, your opinion, and your voice.
President, don't you think that it's time to step down, sir?
Be part of the story, the gist, reactions, intrigues, and the news.
President Neil Patrick Harris has called for greater regulation.
Give us a feedback or join the conversation. On Twitter at TodayFM951. Our Facebook address is Today95.1 FM, or join us on the number 0701 933 9962. That's our WhatsApp application. Be informed, be educated, and have fun. We are Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
I didn't know what put that. Come on, put that down now. I go match and down. Oh yeah, give me that thing. Come on, give me the phone. Give me that thing. Oh yeah, police take over.
Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore. A solution we seek. A desire to stop the trend is imminent.
Wait up, 2 seconds.
God, hey, Jesus. Straight bullet, oh, what kind of country is this? A boy I just said to go and buy something, what kind of thing is straight bullet from where? I'm finished, though.
Directly or indirectly, we all have lost people, friends, family, or acquaintances as a result of insecurity. But is security only the job of the government? No, security is not one man's job alone. Every individual in the society has a role to play in order to achieve a secure society. We urge citizens and indigents to adhere and respect the laws of the state, report irregular activities to the authorities, and we implore security agencies to carry out their duties as stipulated by the Constitution and not infringe on the rights of citizens. If we work together, we can build the Nigeria of our dreams. This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM.
Driver, if not that Muslim man, me I no go enter this your motor. Because I can't enter that motor with this Muslim.
Madam, enter. I take over. Well, if this woman enter this car, I go drop. I go drop from this car. Driver, I go pay you. I go pay you.
Make I do something now.
I go pay you.
Allah, God, no be
I go
the
pay you. I be allergic. I go pay you. No carry that woman. No carry that woman.
Madam, una hear me now. Christian and Muslim, don't be the same Nigeria we be. We be brother and sister now.
No carry that woman. I go pay you. No could they go.
You go pay me.
I go pay you.
Make I go.
Do we need to be guarded by one religion to meet with the Creator? The freedom of worship is a natural right to every being. Why raise arms to drag a man to accept your choice of belief? The spiritual directors now trade the message of salvation for hatred and disrespect of other religions. For all our struggles are aimed at eternity, and choice is the principle of identifying your own God.
Whether Christian or Muslim, we are all one.
Hey, you have a point anyway.
If love is the pathway to eternity, let's walk together as one in love and give respect to
to a man's choice of worship.
Wallahi, Yanunya, don't worry, I will pay for you. Oh, yeah, enter, I will pay for you.
This information is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
I think no one put that. Come on, put that down now. I go match and down. Oh yeah, give me that thing. Come on, give me the phone. Give me that thing. Oh yeah, don't wanna shoot that police. They go over.
Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore. A solution we seek. A desire to stop the trend is imminent.
Waste up 2 seconds.
God, hey, Jesus. Straight bullet, oh, what kind of country is this? A boy I just said to go and buy something, what kind of thing is straight bullet from where? I'm finished, though.
Directly or indirectly, we all have lost people, friends, family, or acquaintances as a result of insecurity. But is security only the job of the government? No, security is not one man's job alone. Every individual in the society has a role to play in order to achieve a secure society. We urge citizens and indigents to adhere and respect the laws of the state, report irregular activities to the authorities, and we implore security agencies to carry out their duties as stipulated by the Constitution and not infringe on the rights of citizens. If we work together, we can build the Nigeria of our dreams. This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM. .1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
Beautiful evening to you listening to me right now on your premium talk news and sports station Today 95.1 FM right here in the city of Port Harcourt. Good evening and happy new year to you right now, because it's obviously the first edition of the program in 2021, and it was such an amazing time last year. We had wonderful conversations where we talked about really, really important things, and we got to share our different opinions like it entails on the program. The program is Opinion Poll on this dial, where we get to bring pressing issues to the table, and basically what we have are, or what we get to hear is your different opinions how it relates to you, how it relates to us as Nigerians. And also we go a step further to prefer solutions to these issues. My name is Dave Robert, and I'll be your anchor for tonight, right up until the hour of 10, where we will be having the world news. Okay. In the meantime, stick around. I'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back. It's Opinion Poll on your premium talk, news and sports station right here in the city of Port Harcourt. And like I said before we went on that short break, if you are new to the program, it's that time where we get to deliberate and talk about certain issues and certain pressing needs as Nigerians and certain things that concern us as Nigerians, and then we get to prefer solutions to these problems. And one of which, and the one we'll be talking about, or that we will be addressing today, is the issue. It's the issue of the ghost worker syndrome in Nigeria. And I know this is something that is not new to the discussion space. It's something that has been there. It's something that is still here. And it's something that we are not really paying attention to because with obvious factors like unemployment, poverty, with obvious factors like, the gross mismanagement of funds by people in public offices, with the increase in the rate of unemployment and the likes, you would want to say, why don't you even think and, take sides with us by saying it is even in the place of the government to pay people, to pay workers. Most people don't have jobs. Most people are out of jobs. Most people are unemployed. And then you see someone who is earning or who is sharing from the national cake, as many would like to put it, or as some would like to put it, sharing from the national cake, benefiting from what is rightfully theirs. Why do you say it's wrong to be a ghost worker? Apparently, it's the dream of some people who want to benefit. But the fact is, what's wrong is wrong. You can't sweep it under the carpet. It's detrimental to the nation's economy. It's detrimental to the nation itself. It's detrimental to the workforce. Imagine having a job slot that is meant for someone who duly earned the requirement to be in that position. And then that job slot is given to someone who isn't there. Probably one very old person who is somewhere in another part of the country doing nothing, just staying back at home and receiving a certain amount at the end of the month. Or a younger child. I stumbled on an article, and my God, I discovered that in that article, it was written that a baby, a month-old baby, was receiving salaries worth about $150. And it's so appalling to know that, this kind of things happen. But I'll open up the phone line shortly. Would go over the, background of the conversation, and then we have the interaction. Stay tuned. This is still Today 95.1 FM, your premium talk, news and sports station.
Okay, all right. All you need to know about this one is that
95.1 FM. Such a unique dial.
Welcome back. Now, two teams set up by the Borno State Governor, Babagana Zulum, to audit primary school teachers and local government workers in the state. That's Borno State recently found that a total of about 22,556 ghost workers were in the payroll of the government. Out of the 56 rather, 14,762 were discovered at the local government level, while 7,794 were found to be collecting salaries from public primary schools without being teachers. This fraud cost the government a whopping amount of about 420 million naira per month. That is not surprising. The problem of ghost workers has been a recurring issue in both federal and state civil services in Nigeria. Year in, year out, government carries out endless biometric verifications. And that's one of the major issues. We see these things reoccurring. We go there, thumbprint, and at the end of the day, we still have the same data. Claims of discovery of ghost workers by politicians and of beating their chest for saving money have become political gimmicks, which politicians occasionally flaunt as achievement. The ghost worker syndrome is neither limited to one state, nor it is a new trend, or nor is it a new trend, rather. A former governor of Kwara State once said that the ghost worker syndrome has been with them for more than 30 years, and that is a very conservative estimate from what he said. And as at June 2016, it was reported that the federal government and 10 other states had in the past 5 years lost over 538 billion to ghost workers. So you see that there is a detrimental effect of this trend. In as much as we want to see it, from our own angle as being part of the benefactors of, the wealth in the nation, it is detrimental, whether we like it or not. As revealed by a certain blog called the Partnership for Transparency Fund, PTF, in Nigeria, a 1-month-old baby made about $150 a month as a public sector ghost worker. Now, I told you that when I was given the early description of the conversation as I started the show. Now, out of a staggering amount, the federal government paid $220 billion to 103,000 ghost workers between September 2013 and May 2015. The other 318 billion was paid by state, namely Katsina, 30 billion naira, Kano, 17 billion naira, River State, 17 billion naira, or River State, 60 billion naira rather, Benue, 10.2 billion naira, Oyo, 18 billion naira, Abia, 26.5 billion naira, Adamawa, 20.4 billion, Akwa Ibom, 15 billion, Bayelsa, 120 billion, and Ekiti, 1.2 billion. These monies were paid to people who weren't working, not working, just being at home and receiving money. And then you tend to wonder why this factor doesn't amplify or is being seen as a catalyst to the detriment of the nation. We all complain. The government isn't doing well. The government isn't doing this. The government isn't doing that. But the citizenry, to some extent, have a bane nature that is poisonous to the system. That is a self-destruct system. I mean, how do you sleep at night, knowing fully well that there is a graduate somewhere who has studied very hard, worked very hard, prayed consistently, because it's one of the factors that we know and hold so dearly as Nigerians, and yet we don't, or he or she doesn't get to see that job he deserves being given to him or her. The PTF is a New York-based international organization that works with civil society organizations across the world to facilitate citizens' engagement in fighting corruption and holding of government and public officials accountable. Now, in 2012, PTF calculated that ghost workers defraud the Nigerian government of about 530 million naira each year, effectively crippling the nation's budget. Nigerian politicians and government officials, apart from collecting diseased workers' pensions, for instance, register migrant workers to vote, and in return for their votes, the migrant workers are placed on the government payrolls. Today, the problem, instead of abating, has worsened. The PTF located the problem of ghost workers at the core of corruption in Nigeria, echoing what the government knows but would not admit, that solving the problem is almost impossible so long as many political stakeholders continue to benefit from the system. Now, I'd just like to point out those facts. For example, it is known to most of us. The assumption is a widely accepted assumption that most political office holders designate some certain key juicy positions, or let's not just use the juicy ones, certain positions to friends, family members, regardless of what the other person's qualifications are. They assign these slots, these job slots. Give it to family members, give it to friends, give it to friends of friends, and so on and so forth. And then you see the increasing nature of unemployment and poverty in the nation. And you tend to wonder, because right now we are caught in between the devil and the Red Sea. I mean, this is not just based on the governmental factors alone, or the government or the political office holders or the public office holders. Yet again, we still see the civilians, we still see the citizenry, we still see people who tend to say, oh, we uphold the law and order and we follow due process, enrolling for this kind of acts. And then you ask a question, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this to ourselves? While you're looking forward to working and staying in service for as long as you can and, live in service and still earning, someone somewhere is qualified for that job. Yet again, the narrative of politicians and public office holders still relinquishing that spot or that job to someone they feel, the preferential treatment given to people that they feel deserve that position. All right, so this is what we will be discussing this evening. And we'll be looking at different angles concerning this particular issue. I would like you to call in and then you give your solutions as regards this issue. Do we see the trend of ghost working in Nigeria coming to an end anytime soon? With these factors like the in-depth greed that each and every one of us holds. The politicians, the public office holders who want their associates, friends, families to be in these positions or these spots or these offices. And then the people, the ones who still go ahead, you're done, you're due for retirement, and then for some reason you find a way to smuggle your name into some certain office and some certain document, and you lie, and then you forge some certain statement and certain documents, and you still receive salaries. And yet again, the narrative of unemployment in the nation and the high rising nature of poverty. So do we see this issue, this trend of ghost working coming to an end or possibly dying off soon in Nigeria? Okay, not to forget, when you say, okay, let's go for the biometrics verifications and identifications as to which some state government practice. I don't basically know the length at which this thing is properly overseen or monitored, or the extent as to which the verification is being monitored, not to have false data being imputed. So if you still say, okay, there are biometric scans every month or there are verifications carried out every month, how possible is it that we don't still see these factors of wrong data being imputed? Okay, so let me open up the phone lines now and you call me. Do you see the issue of ghost working, the syndrome of ghost working being mitigated in Nigeria anytime soon? Okay, call me up on the numbers 0817 0000951 or 0810 9510951, or you can send your text messages or WhatsApp messages to the number 0701 933 9962 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening, Robert.
Good evening. What's your name?
I'm Congo, calling from Akuka Village here.
Mr. Congo, you're welcome.
Thank you, my good brother. You see, the issue of ghost workers in River State and Nigeria in general will never stop. Why? Because the people at the helm of affairs, they are responsible. They do that, and they know everything about it. They cover them.
Okay.
They also cover their ghost workers and collect the money and arrange with the bank managers. The government government they are aware of what is happening, who will implicate each other? Because they know what is happening, and they cannot implicate whomever. So it will never stop, except God will intervene. Bravo, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. While we are saying it will never stop, and we are, actually envisaging that this issue might not possibly be mitigated, can we also consider the factors of possibility in tackling this particular issue? Now, if we have a system where there is segregation of authorities and duties, and we also have substantive review of payroll systems at multiple levels, and we also have, the follow-up with consequences when someone defaults, when we catch anybody who is found wanting in this particular trend or doing this particular thing, the consequences, and also having informed management and executives, that might be a possible solution to tackling the issue. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Oh.
Good evening and welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening, Dave. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. You're welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Mr. Tangod. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Mr. Tangod, go ahead.
Yeah, talking about the issue of ghost workers in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's something that will end soon.
Okay.
Because, as a matter of fact, the people involved in it are the high-ranking officers in the civil service. And so I don't see any end in sight. Apart from that, our leaders know that these things are going on. If actually they want to stop it, they can stop it, but they don't really want to stop it because somehow they're also benefiting from it. So I don't see an end in sight. It's only God that will help us.
So judging by the narrative of people saying there is unemployment in the country and then there is a high level of poverty in the country, do you think that might be one of the justifiable approaches as to why people will still enroll themselves and register and re-register their names for receiving salaries?
Pardon?
Did you get what I said?
I said pardon. I didn't actually get you.
Okay. Considering factors like unemployment,
okay,
and the high level of poverty in the country,
yeah,
do you still see that as one of the justifiable reasons why people still indulge in this act?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. 95.1 FM, good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening.
What?
Yeah, my name is Chris. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Mr. Chris, you're welcome.
Yeah. You see, I would have loved to tell you that there is no way ghost workers will end in Nigeria because the system acknowledge and approve such.
Okay.
If some of our senators, men looking at them, and you know that this senator is above 70 years or 75 years or 80 years, you still see that person representing people in National Assembly, doing all sorts of things. See, you go to some of our local governments, many of them don't even attend to local government, but they do receive salary. So if people that know the people refuse to fish them out, who am I to fish them out? They know them just like now, the present president now. He knows his age.
Okay.
And everybody knows his age. That by now, if it's a country that is maybe uphold their constitution, the president is not supposed to be in the office. So how can he me?
Mr. Chris, I would like to correct you on that fact. Apparently, the president of Nigeria is even one of the youngest. If you check in terms of the age grade for presidents across the world.
Okay, leave that side. Let me not go there.
Okay.
And on the side of corruption and the other things, age disease that is happening, see, nobody nobody can stop it as far as the Nigerian constitution allows it to thrive. Look at, can you tell me why a senator or a governor will run for an office, finish 4 years, 8 years, see and for another going to represent people in the house, and they will stay there as long as some of them will stay there and die. Even many of them go to many, they do receive salary. You come for this thing, they will ask people to bring, they will fill their children, fill their own name. What is happening in Nigeria? Do we have law at all? Look at all this thing that they are talking about to verify. What are you verifying? You want to tell me that, for example, now, you know very well that I do call your program, and you know very well from the first day you started this show, if you Google it through your system, you see everything that I said on that first day. It's there now. How can you tell me that there is not possible to fish out those goat water? It's possible, Betty. We are corrupt.
All right.
And our position is corrupt.
All right, thank you very much.
Abide those items as a ceremonial thing.
All right.
We love and we abide on it until we start to speak truth. Check your closed door neighbor that this thing you are doing, Senator, is not good.
All right.
But allegedly, until I kill this allegedly in Nigeria will not get better.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chris. Oh, Chris, thank you very much. We got your thoughts. 95.1 FM, good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Nabi here, Abagwa Maxwell.
All right, you're welcome.
Nationality.
All right, you're welcome.
Let me tell you one thing. Corruption in Nigeria is a cankerworm that has eaten deep into people. Even myself talking. That is I'm positioned.
Yes, I like that.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Everybody wants to be rich in Nigeria. Everybody is not looking for the better of Nigeria and Nigerians. I am seeking for the position to become what I want to be myself. I'm not a matter. What's the matter? You look into the ghosts of workers in Nigeria. The people, the politicians, commissioners, permanent secretaries, all of them, they are responsible. Almost all of them have up to 50 to 100 candidate names and BGMs. They left to collect the money at the end of the day. While people are suffering, seeking for job, no job. Once again, and when you die with the money. Nothing else happens. They don't even listen. They are in the church every Sunday, every Saturday, every Friday, all over. But they are not even achieving anything. Praise the Lord, hallelujah. And that's all. My brother, I am not happy personally. That's Congo talking. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the question now arises, what stringent mediums, what stringent rules can we use to mitigate this particular issue? I mean, if you say the senator who is sitting and representing your constituency or your state is collecting a certain amount of money, and then you who is working in the local government can still boldly register your name, register your son's name, register your daughter's name, and collect salaries meant for other people at the end of the month. Are you not the same? 95.1 FM, good evening and welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Ifeanyi Chukwu JP. I am calling from Akabuka.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year, my brother.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. You see, the problem we are having in this country is people over greediness is the problem we are having in this country.
Okay.
And some people are doing these things, feeling that they are doing the president, most especially in this Buhari era. So that let it just be the way they are calling Buhari. You understand? If not, I've never seen where one will be, one will retire, and one will keep collecting one salary or giving it to the person that have retired. Why there are thousands of youths, thousands of children every day going out of the university, staying at home, doing nothing. Why people will be collecting? Don't you think that this is wickedness?
So it's on both sides. It's on both parts. Both parties are guilty.
Are you saying that both parties are guilty?
Both parties are guilty. Because the narrative over time is the government does this, the government does that, the government does this. What happened to the civil servant who isn't
who are doing this?
What happens to the civil servant? Yes, who are joining or who
civil servants that are joining hand in such a business?
Yes, indulging in such acts.
Yes, that is the same thing. That is why I'm saying that people are doing this wicked act, thinking that they are doing the government.
All right.
They are doing, yes, and the one thing I know that posterity will never forgive them.
Okay.
Posterity will never forgive them.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The numbers to reach the studio 0817-0000951. 0810-951-0951, or you can send your text messages or your WhatsApp messages to the number 0701-933-9962. The year 2021, when we are making amends in different angles and sectors and criticizing the government, why don't we look inwards and deal with the factors that we still indulge in and partake in? 95.1 FM. Good evening. Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Dave, my name is Kofi. I'm Dave.
All right, you're welcome.
How are you? Happy New Year, Dave.
Happy New Year.
Dave, for ghost workers in Nigeria, I never know the year that will come to an end in this country, Nigeria. Dave, it has become a virus in this country, these ghost workers, the virus that eat up civil service work in Nigeria. From local government to state government to federal, it's here on regular basis. The directors, the permanent secretary, the DGs, they are people that are sponsoring these ghost workers. It's not the money goes to the big officers in the offices in the council, in the state. If you see common DFS of local government or ATM, build mighty structure that did in Port Harcourt, in Abuja, you wonder, say, where have they worked before? A DFS or the accountant or HTM of common council, see the mighty building they are building, car they are driving, you wonder, where are they getting this money to build this kind of buildings and they car they are driving? It's for the ghost workers they are putting to make up their money. That's how they get money.
Okay.
So I don't know who government will come to stop this virus. The money this country have, if the government utilizes it, you will see like you have gone to Dubai in less than a year. The money this country have. If the civil service utilize the money, remove ghost workers, and put it in human capital development, this country will run like again 100-meter speed every year. But because of out of the they put 100 million naira, 60-70 million will go to the pocket of the directors and the governors and the local government chairman and the president. So the 30%, it won't go around. So our problem in this country, I want a government that will come to end these ghost workers in this country. It's helpful for us. Thank you, my brother. Good evening.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Cookie Gum. His opinion was or is that it is practically not possible to eradicate this virus of the ghost worker syndrome in Nigeria. What do you think? 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from? Good evening. What's your name?
My name is Chicks. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Mr. Chicks, you're welcome.
This topic, ghost worker issue. Well, if you ask me, I blame the leadership at the top.
Okay.
At the top level, starting with the governor.
All right.
Governor and the minister and the rest. They are the ones that are the cost of these ghost workers, and they are the agitators. They are the real gladiators of ghost workers. So let them not complain. Let me tell you one thing. In your organization, I hope people have something that you use to indicate your staffs. Like in my old case, we clock with our finger with the biometrics. When you come to work, you clock. If you are not there, you're not there. If you're there, you're there. You understand?
Yes.
Initially, when the company was taking it for a ride, they had a lot of ghost workers. The contractors did a lot of ghost workers everywhere. Ghost worker. The company was losing so much money. But when they sit up and decided that this ghost worker issue must stop, they come up with clocking. You have to clock with your fingertips. There's nobody that can do it for yourself. You come there and do it by yourself. and they were able to capture the number of workers they have, and they are able to know who and who that is working in this place. The government, the governor and the rest of the gladiators, they will not bring the system that will make this thing to be checked, because them just have their own list now. You don't know.
But it's implemented in River State. Do you know?
River State did now, but their own, they did this partially. You know, River State problem we have here is every year is APC, PDP. If for example now I'm a PDP man and I have my own ghost workers list, nobody will talk about that one.
Okay.
Then if you are an APC man, your own ghost worker list in the ministry, everybody will hear it. That is the issue. They are not doing it with honest to say really want this thing to stop. They are not doing it like that. The only time you hear them complain is that if the person that is doing that thing is their own political party person, you will not hear it. But the moment the person that is doing that in that ministry is another party, you hear it. Just like what's happening in most of our government hospitals. We know what is going on now. If the leadership there is APC, if the leadership at the top here is which is PDP, they will not want to do anything in the hospital. It's everywhere now. So that's why I blame this ghost worker issue to the top. Not even this one people are mentioning. No. The people that are causing this ghost worker problem is these people that I mentioned to you. If they decide to say this ghost worker issue will stop, it will stop. Because some of them, they know now. Some of them know they are boys. Those people that are doing they are their boys now. Those people are their boys. You understand?
All right.
They keep them there. And why that thing will not stop? Because those people that are there are doing returns to those people. You know, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I get your point.
Yeah, it's just like somebody putting you in a particular place. He knows what he's doing there. He knows what you're doing there. But as long as you keep bringing you keep paying that homage to him every month, every year, I don't know how you agree with the person. The person will keep quiet and pretend as if he doesn't know what you're doing. And the thing will continue. It will continue. Don't see stop something to do tomorrow.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chooks. Thank you very much, Mr. Chooks. Now, considering the amount of money Nigeria loses, judging by statistics, the amount of money we lose to the issue of ghost work, and then the fact that there are credible people who can man those positions, who can occupy those positions and perform optimally, who are being denied the opportunity to do so because someone somewhere is occupying that spot. That's very wrong. 95.1 FM, good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's your boy Tamlo Tonye, Reason Wallace, Ubani.
All right. You're welcome.
Okay. Calling from Adi Judge.
All right, you're welcome. Go ahead.
My brother, actually, sir, this ghost name thing is everywhere. My brother, could you believe that even in a liberal job, they still fix ghost name? It's everywhere, yeah. Surprisingly, I see that happen in the site where workers are working and the engineer still fix ghost name. Why he has nine people working in the field there, he would make it 11. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Corruption. This country is corrupt. Nigeria is corrupt. It's everywhere.
So it's not just in the federal and state and local government parastatals, it's everywhere.
Everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's just everywhere. It's everywhere. It's even where you are there too. It's there. Everywhere it's corrupt.
All right.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Thank you very much.
We just have to individual. We all have to work with ourselves. We all have to change our attitude. We all have to work with ourselves first of all, because if you're not there to do the bribing and corruption, it won't be there. You just be like, normally, you know your rights. You don't have to be scared. Stand for your rights. But you want to pay corruption just for you to pass, make way. Even right now, they're doing this SIM registration. People are there collecting money to register for people. Yes, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Even in the bus stop, when you stop to pay, get a cab, could you believe you neither even pay all these aburo guys? When it is red, you don't see car like at Rumola Junction. You even find them tips to beg. I got taxi to come and beg. Find one taxi for me.
All right. All right.
It's everywhere. Okay, I go put it for tax. If I miss something, it's everywhere.
All right.
We're just connect that set, yeah.
All right,
But we should work on this, our government. I hope one day, I don't see it come to an end, sir. I don't see it come to an end, for real. Because they say we are man work, now we are man go chop.
But that should not be the narrative. Consider the other people who... I'm sorry you lost the connection there. 95.1 FM, good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello, good evening. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? Happy New Year.
My name is Emmanuel Osabi. I'm calling from Rumigo.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. My brother, this problem is too much for Nigeria, those workers. I don't even know how they are going to do it. Because if to say we have 20 people who are in the National Assembly, they are the people who is to enforce law concerning this. So that all these things will stop. So anybody who is caught, who is indicted, will be dealing. But these are the people who want it. And most of the permanent secretaries in the ministries, they are the beneficiaries of all these things. Yeah? So that is the problem that we have in Nigeria here. I think that the House of the National Assembly implemented laws concerning this. This will stop automatically. That's my take. Thank you very much.
All right. For the House of Reps and the Senate to move a bill into law that will see these people facing the repercussions of their act. Now, the question is, are they ready to do so? All right, 0817 951 or 0810 951 951. We're looking at a futuristic year where things would, probably work as we plan or we imagine or we fascinated in our minds to be. Where the issue of ghost working will be mitigated. But for now, what do we do? To curb this kind of trend. This is not something we are preparing a generation to come and meet. A generation where people go to work or people graduate from schools and then they don't have the opportunity to work because someone is occupying that spot doing nothing. 95.1 FM, good evening and welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening. This is Charles from Obibo.
Charles from Obibo. You're welcome.
Please, I want to ask one question here.
Hello? I lost the call. Let's quickly do some text messages before we get back to the phone line. This one says, okay, ghost workers in River State is... Okay, ghost workers in River State, if tackling headlong, will end. That is why people don't like... Okay, you're trying to say ghost workers in River State will end if being tackled headlong, and that is why people don't like Governor Nyesom Wike, because he's doing just that. All right. This one says, good evening, Dave. I'm very disappointed to tell the government are the problems. This ghost workers of a thing is on the increase. Do you know that Nigeria is the only government that will catch you in the act of stealing and will just ask you to resign or tell you to go home? I'm even looking for where I can grab my own share of the national cake. They will just ask me to go home and enjoy my loot in Nigeria. No get head. Sorry for telling you that. All right. Thank you very much. Back to the phone lines, 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, Mr. Dave Rama.
Mr. Sam, greetings to you and Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, a warm greeting from Macastro.
You're welcome.
The foreign man in Nigeria, Mr. Dave Rama. Mr. Dave, sincerely, let me tell you, you see, the problem we have in Nigeria is that the criminals who are in people they send to go and checkmate and see how to solve the problem, they are still the same criminals. who will also go there and make their own money. In fact, Mr. Dave Robert, you see the problem is just everywhere, from the home down to the offices and to the top. I don't know how we will get rid of this thing. But I know when I come on board 223, we can get rid of this thing.
All right.
But for now, I'm still calculating how with this set of people that we have, we'll be able to do away with this thing. And when I say from the home, you see, some time ago, I visited a former chairman of, I think, during the time of the Shagari.
Okay.
And it was during the time of Obasanjo when I visited him in his house. Can you imagine? I don't know what happened before I came in. The wife was just lashing on the husband, calling him fool because they were still living in an uncompleted building that the man was using his salary to build. And you know they never last long during that time. And the wife was insulting him that the man is fool, is this, look at the new chairman, is a local government, look how the man has houses, duplex, and what have you. I was so surprised. The woman was not even ashamed of herself. Right there, in my presence, she was not ashamed. And you see, this is how, and you know one thing, Mr. Dave Robert, I remember I was to head some, this thing, transaction. And did you know these people, they were about to do those their shady business. And when I said no, something cannot take place, you know, they begin to threaten my life.
Okay.
I don't understand.
All right.
And another day again, I saw a young man where I met him in a barber shop. Did you know what these young men who have children, they were saying if they have opportunity, they will steal money, and they will, even if their children have opportunity to be in that place, they will teach their children to steal money. That any of their child who happens to have the opportunity to be in any office, in government or any establishment, and he or she will not steal money, they will disown those children. I was so surprised, and they were so proud of it. And some of them came with their children to back them, and they were saying these things. So, Mr. Dave, but you see, they will be quick. These same people will be quick to lashes on the president and what have you, that they are corrupt. But you see, we ourselves, our minds are already corrupt right from our homes. So, but I know the strategy. The thing is that the government will not want to listen now. And if you begin to unveil the strategy now, this man will want to do everything to eliminate you.
All right.
Just as you see how they were going after Dora.
All right.
When Dora was against them.
All right.
They did everything, and you see that man did not last long. I will not be surprised that these people they are responsible.
All right.
These corrupt people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sam.
223 will find out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dave Robert.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Lost that call. Please call me back if you can. 0817 0000951 or 0810 9510951. And then you can send your text messages or your WhatsApp messages to the number 0701 933 9962. 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome. Lost the call. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, good evening. Let me take 1 minute. It's Chris. I forgot something.
All right.
Yeah, you know this native tradition. When you sleep with your sister, they will ask you to dance naked in the village. Elders will be flogging you. You know, when people see something, maybe somebody do something, nobody punish that person. You know that it's a tradition.
Okay.
So in my village, that kind of thing, when that thing happened, we used to bring the person, you dance naked, both two of them. So when others will see the type of maltreating that they are maltreating, you will see that thing will die. Today, nobody is doing that. So you remember what is causing this problem, everybody? Even me, as you see me here, the way I'm seeing it, let me tell you, I will not hide my mouth. If I have the opportunity to go to Aso Rock, to any other, so far they are doing it, nobody. The only thing that government will ask you, they will ask you to resign. When you resign, you go and eat the billions that you stole. If they are punishing people, they will stop. But one thing is this: they have the people that are asking them to do it, that are backing them. All of them, they have godfatherism on ghost workers. They have people that are backing them.
Okay.
So it will not stop unless they punish the people and their sponsor. But so far, when someone will steal, you ask the person, you just resign, go home. I will collect my own. It's national cake. You shouldn't bother anybody. And because I see it as a national cake, other tribe are doing. Ekele did it and scot free. The other person did it and scot free. Why wouldn't I tell my children go and collect the money and come back? It's national cake. So until when they are ready to review the constitution, doing it. So
are you still there? Okay, I think I lost the call. This one says, let's just take some text messages because we are running out of time. This one says, good evening, Dave. The system is rigid. Whenever a governor is sworn in his first 3 months, he would announce that his administration had erased millions of ghost workers from the payroll. They keep discovering millions of ghost workers every 4 years. Still yet, they are never taken off the payroll. Just like in River State, they say this the so-called Mr. Project has been conducting never-ending biometrics with absolutely nothing positive to show for it. Ghost workers in Nigeria is a state-sponsored policy. Don't expect it to come to an end anytime soon. This is coming from Relish in Port Harcourt. Okay. This one says, hello, Dave. Your station is being influenced by another station from Akwa Ibom State as at now. I am finding it hard to hear you. Okay. And you're sending this from Aba. All right. Thank you very much. We will mitigate the issue. 95.1 FM, good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Kingsley, calling from Choba.
All right, you're welcome.
Yeah. Talking about problem of ghost workers in Nigeria. It's very simple to have a solution to it. First of all, when was the last time Nigeria had a census?
Sometime in 2006.
Yes, so we don't really know how many persons there are in this country. Government is not interested in getting the correct data because when they manipulate the figures, that is when they use it. Still, it's very easy, my brother. Just need to have a census. Without census, everybody will have an identification number. When you are working, you have to attach your identification number to database.
Okay.
So that you can quickly identify if you are a worker. Because when we talk about ghost names, to some extent they are not really good. You have in Nigeria somebody who is working in a local government, is also working in a state, is also working in federal government.
Yes.
This person collecting salary from different government organizations. You also can understand why after this state government attempt to have a database of lecturers in Nigeria, because many of them are working in different universities and collecting different salaries.
Okay.
That matter is not resolved. So it is a problem. I think the government, if they are sincere, they should start by having a census in this country.
All right.
So that we can have a correct data of how many persons are in Nigeria.
All right.
Then from there, we begin to link every worker to national identity. That is the solution.
All right.
So that we can also identify those who are working different organizations. Some are in private sector, they are also in government. So when it comes to biometric, they will come there and be captured. Do we have a database that can able to link these people to everywhere they are collecting money?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I had to let you go there because of time. This is where we draw the curtains for tonight's program, but you can be part of it tomorrow, same time, same station. The program was Opinion Poll on your Premium Talk News and Sports Station, Today 95.1 FM. Coming up shortly is the World News. Keep listening. Good evening.
All you need to know about this one is that
95.1 FM. Such a unique dial.
Driver, if not that Muslim man, me I no go enter this your motor. Because I can't enter that motor with this Muslim.
Madam, enter. I think I'll be able to make
it. Well, if this woman enter this car, I go drop. I go drop from this car.
Want to enter. My child and his
Driver, I go pay you. I go pay you. Make I do something now. I go pay you. Let go. I go pay you. I be allergic. I go pay you. No carry that woman. No carry that woman.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM. Every day, every hour. When the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM. Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today. 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Good evening. This is the World News on your Premium Talk Radio, Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. I am Dave Roberts. The headlines. New task force on illegal motor parks and street trading sensitizes residents on need to obey River State government's ban. Senator Magnus Abbey condemns attack on members of APC in Asari Toro local government area by armed thugs loyal to faction of party in River State. Federal government assures Nigerians of improved security in 2021. And on the foreign scene, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, raises COVID-19 alert level to 5 over soaring cases of virus in the UK. And now the details. River State government has commenced the commissioning of some road projects across those 7 local government areas of the state. The state government commenced the inauguration of the road projects at the 10.3-kilometer Ete Road in Thai local government area of the state. Governor Nyesom Wike, while speaking during the event, faulted criticisms that he had concentrated infrastructure in only Obiakpo and Port Harcourt local government area of the state. This is what he had to say.
Some people say, oh, we are commissioning projects in Port Harcourt and in Obiakpo, no projects in other local governments. Is this local government, is it Port Harcourt local government? Is it Obiakpo local government? Which local government is it? In which zone? Ogoni what? It's not Ogoni it is. So we have projects in Ogoni. Do we have projects? We are coming back here tomorrow to commission Sakuabo River. It's not 16 kilometers. Tomorrow we are coming back. All these people who will never say the truth, may they never say the truth in their life. Look at the project of 10.3 kilometers. Look at the communities. So how would anybody say that we have not done anything for the people of time? How would anybody say we have no presence in Ogoni land?
The governor also commended the indigents of the community for supporting the contractors during their operations. This is what he had to say.
I thank the community for supporting the contractor to complete this road on time, because it's for your own benefit. I've told most of our boys that when there's a project going on in your community, you own that project because it's for the interest of your people. You don't need to begin to demand for money from contractors, and that will make the contractor to run away and abandon the site. At the end of the day, who will lose? The contractor will not lose, but the communities will lose. But now that you have given the contractor the support, I will not see a gathered now being happy that this road has been completed. So I want other communities too to emulate the people of time.
Speaking before he commissioned the project, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed described Governor Wike as the face of leadership of governors in Nigeria. Take a listen to what he said.
I'm always happy to be associated with Governor Wike, not because he is the most pragmatic governor in Nigeria, not because he has always won the toga of leadership, not because he has always tried to satisfy his people and define all odds, but because of his capacity as the face of our party, the PDP, the face of leadership of the governors. He has always defied all difficult terrains, cancerous projects and programs to be able to produce and deliver to his people. That has endeared him to me as a person since we met in the cabinet. He is somebody who says the truth, no matter the situation and no matter whose God is God. We need people like that.
The 28th Indigenous People of Ogoni Day celebration has been hindered following the emergence of several factions of the movement of the survival of Ogoni people, MOSOP. A correspondent reports that the usual general celebration of the Ogoni people did not take place at the usual location, Birabi Memorial Grammar School, Bori, because security agencies sealed off the gate as different factions of MOSOP emerged. Reacting to the botched Ogoni Day celebration, some stakeholders, including the president of the National Youth Council of Ogoni People, NYCOP, Young Inkpa, described the lingering crisis in MOSOP as very unfortunate for the Ogoni Day 28th celebration. This is what he had to say.
The significance of today's celebration centers specifically on the emancipation of the Ogoni people, and to a very large extent, I think to a large extent, it was very successful, and you can see people are happy. We don't want any form of chaos. People laying claims to who I'm also president, I have this, and I'm doing that, and all that. Those interests are vested interests. We want interests that will be of Ogoni origin. We must all unite, come together, and harmonize, present a common front. I think that is the strength in what we are doing. That will show a lot of potency in the activities of MOSOP as events unfold.
Correspondent Victor Eziama reports that the year's Ogoni Day celebration was marked in different kingdoms of Ogoni. Ogoni Day is marked on the 4th of January every year to remember the struggle of the independence of Ogoni Kingdom. The River State Government Task Force on the Ban on Street Trading, Illegal Motor Parks, Taxi and Mechanic Workshops has commenced operations. The new coordinator of the task force, DSP Felix Iwadibe, said the team began operation by first patrolling the streets of Port Harcourt and Obiakpo local government areas to sensitize the people on the need to obey government ban on street trading and illegal motor parks. ORDBA noted that no member of the default task force on street trading and illegal motor is part of the reconstituted team, which he now coordinates. He also assured the public of the civility of new task force, but warned that anyone who willfully flouts government ban on street trading, illegal motor parks, taxi ranks, and mechanic workplaces will be arrested and prosecuted. This is what he had to say.
Today, we are going out to synthesize the people to make sure they are aware of our presence that we have commenced. For some time now, there was no task force working on them. We are now going out to allow the public that we have commenced. And anybody caught wanting today will be prosecuted accordingly. The men have been lectured. They are well schooled. Even this morning we've lectured them. On Saturday we lectured them. Yesterday we lectured them on how to behave on the road. In as much as you are not ready to obey, perhaps others will learn from you. Because we will not spare you. If you refuse to obey, we will arrest you. Make sure you are being prosecuted. Then what happened to you will serve as a deterrent to others. No, there's no old task force member that is in this team.
On his part, the officer in charge of the River State Task Force, DSP Okuto Christopher, explained that the presence of security personnel attached to the task force is to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order. This is what he had to say.
The presence of the security agencies to make sure there's no breakdown of law and order. Yes, if there's any defaulter, if there's any offender, ours is just to apprehend and take to the nearest division, and the defaulter will be charged to court. They have been briefed. The Commissioner of Police yesterday briefed the men, and they will be of good conduct. The policemen on ground now, 70. Yes, we'll be having a shift, morning and afternoon shifts.
The 6th Division of the Nigerian Army has been advised to call some of its personnel to order over their activities about a land issue in Romokurshi in Obiakwa local government area of River State. This follows the alleged arrest of one Michael Fatai, who was farming on his land, which appeared to be in dispute by men said to be security operatives. On one Ihiayichuku Ihiwo, who spoke on behalf of his family, also called on the Nigerian Navy to investigate a certain retired naval officer on Irabe. This is what he had to say.
We want to use great opportunities to call on the authorities of Nigerian Army 6th Division and Nigerian Navy to call its personnel to order. It is sad that its personnel have allowed themselves to be used to intimidate and arrest its citizens. On the 22nd of December 2020, personnel of Nigerian Army and Navy invaded our ancestral land, shooting sporadically, and arrested one Mr. Michael Fatai, a laborer working on our ancestral land, and they took Mr. Michael Fatai to the palace of Eze Jeremiah. We will continue to defend our ancestral land, even with the last drop of our blood. We will learn that the two naval officers that accompanied the military men to shoot and chisel us from our ancestral land are security men attached to one retired naval officer residing at Iriebe. We called on the authorities of Nigerian Navy to investigate its retired officer residing at Iriebe. We will continue to defend our ancestral land. We will not accept intimidation.
In the meantime, Eze Jeremiah Warrenhu has denied the allegations by Ihuo.
I was surprised that such a young man, while we were there, and he goes about telling people that on the 2nd of December that I, 10 military men, the 40 degree do I have to actually send military men to intimidate them. The third land has been subject to litigation for several years, and we're in court. And I believe that if you say you own a land, why not endure? Let the court decide the ownership of the land. They have deceived the Nigerian police. They are written several petitions against me, which you have gone. This particular young man called Ejai have gone to city monitoring, written petition against me. Various families in Imopos who have gone there. They cannot substantiate the allegation, and the police is still under investigation. And this matter is also subject to investigation. We presented documents of court and all the rest, and they saw it. The police said that it's better that we maintain status quo.
A clergyman identified as Pastor Soji Masoje is now in the security custody at the garrison of the Nigerian Army Bori Camp, Port Harcourt, over the disappearance of a young lady, Beauty Sobari Wigba Rani. It was gathered that the 20-year-old Beauty Wigba Rani is a final year student of the Department of Education, River State University, last visited Pastor Imasoje on December 25th, 2020. While the Army is still interrogating Pastor Imasoje of City of Angels International Ministries, Eneka, lawyer to the family of the missing girl, Gobari Didom, has asked the military to transfer the matter to the River State Police Command for proper investigation. This is what he had to say.
Well, it may be briefed by the family of the victim, Miss Beauty Somebody Wingbarane, of a suspected case of adoption since the 25th day of December 2020, where she visited pastor, also suspected to be his boyfriend or man friend, since that 25th, the 26th, 27th,
December 2020, the phone went off. 26, 27, the pastor called the family members of Beauty, asking about whereabouts. They say Beauty told them that she was visiting him, that they've not seen her home. They say, okay, that Beauty is coming to see them. They now contacted the father, who now formally reported the police to the Nigerian Army 6th Division. He was arrested and has been kept in their custody. However, as legal practitioner, we know the people who are in charge of criminal investigation is the Nigerian police force. So we are calling on the Commissioner of Police to take over the investigation of the matter from the Nigerian Army to see that justice is done.
You are listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories. Stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Welcome back. This is still the World News on Today 95.1 FM. Former senator that represented Rivers South East Senatorial District, Senator Magnus Abe, has condemned the attack on members of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in a Saratoga local government area of Rivers State led by Ben Hosfall over the weekend. Senator Abe, in a statement, said he personally signed that Nigerians are aware that armed youths allegedly led by one Isoberebo Wokoma, a known member of the APC, an associate of Ojakaye Amakri, an ally of the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, invaded the venue of a peaceful gathering of APC members in Buguma City with dangerous weapons, inflicting serious injuries on several persons, including women. The statement further stated that the reason Ben Hosfall and other party members almost lost their lives in Buguma is because they dared to disagree with the Minister of Transportation. Abe said the latest incident is a test case for Rivers State ahead of 2023, adding that the political issues in the APC in Rivers State cannot be resolved by violence. Senator Magnus Abe therefore declared that all leaders of Rivers State must stand up in clear condemnation of the resort to violence because anyone can become a victim when violence reigns. The federal government has assured that Nigeria will witness improved security in 2021. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, gave the assurance while addressing newsmen in Lagos. He stated that President Muhammadu Buhari has continued to provide the military and other security agencies with the required support to function better. Mohammed described 2020 as undoubtedly one of the most challenging years for the country, saying it was a result of the global pandemic that triggered an economic recession, a heightened insecurity challenge, and unnecessary violence in the country. This is what he had to say.
Troops and putting security of our country, enough is enough. It is sad that these organizations mostly rely on fake news and disinformation to reach their conclusions. As witnessed during the NSAS protest, Nigeria is not and cannot be a failing or failed state. Of course, you remember that for the past 2 decades or so, some pseudo-analysts have been predicting the country's implosion. That has not happened, and will not happen, and will not happen.
The Special Public Works Program, which is expected to engage 774,000 unemployed Nigerians, will kick off nationwide tomorrow. The Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, who made the announcement on his Twitter handle, explained that President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the commencement of the initiative. He said that all NDE state structures are already in top gear for the takeoff ceremonies. The program, designed to employ 1,000 Nigerians from each of the 774 local government areas in the country, was initially scheduled for launch on October 1st last year, but it ran into hiatus following the power play between Keyamo and the Directorate of the Employment, Nasiru Ladan, who was sacked last month. The Magistrate Court in Abuja has ordered the remand of Omoyele Sowore and 4 others at Kuje Correctional Center. Reports say their formal bail application will be heard tomorrow, January 5th, 2020. Sowore was arrested by the police for leading a protest against bad governance on New Year's Eve in Abuja. He's been arraigned alongside 4 others by the federal government on 3 charges of criminal conspiracy, unlawful assembly, and attempting to incite others. They all pleaded not guilty to their charges. Speaking to newsmen outside the courtroom, Sowore explained how he was arrested. This is what he had to say.
Policemen that were brought to where they claimed the protest was taking place just pounced on people. I came out of my car because I was covering the event and told them to stop beating people, and they pounced on me too and broke my nose. This was carried out by a mobile police officer who led about 5 vehicles loaded with, about 7 vehicles loaded. The mobile policemen well armed. It was an attempt to tell him to stop brutalizing Nigerians in view of NSAS and the position of this country right now on police brutality. That they pounced on me to broke my nose. When they are aware we are not going into the charges because completely they are political charges. It's for the lawyers to react to the charges. Even if you see, you tell the story of the charges. It was so horribly done. They didn't even know how to spell my names correctly. They didn't put my age because there were no charges in the first place. This was just an attempt to continue the persecution of Sowore.
Also speaking, the prosecuting counsel explained why the suspects are being arraigned. This is what they had to say.
They were being charged for criminal conspiracy, unlawful assembly, and then inciting public disturbance to the extent that somebody is calling that there should be a change of government. By other means, other than the constitutional, they approved the constitutional. It is an FIR. This is not charge.
Meanwhile, former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, has sold off his shares in the Integrated Logistics Services Limited, Intels. This was disclosed in a statement by his media aide, Paul Ibe. Ibe explained that one of the reasons why Atiku sold his shares was because of the alleged preoccupation to destroy a legitimate business by President Muhammad Buhari-led federal government. Recall that in 2017, the federal government had directed the Nigerian Ports Authority to terminate its pilotage contract with Intels. Citing reasons for the contract termination, the NPA alleged that Intels refused to get on the Treasury single account platform. NPA has, however, denied that its action was politically motivated. The Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Mohammed Babandide, has directed NIS information to enforce the travel ban imposed on 100 travelers who flouted the mandatory 7-day post-arrival COVID-19 polymerase chain reaction test. He said the defaulting passengers had been restricted for 6 months from January 1st to June 30th, 2021, in line with the federal government's directives. The Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, in a statement by the NIS spokesman, DCI Sunday James, said the affected passengers had been notified and will be prevented from passport reissuance and traveling outside the country during this period. The statement further warned the affected passengers to comply with the directive to avoid breaching public health protocols and refusal of departure. The Lagos State government has ordered all public and private schools in the state to reopen for the second term 2020-2021 academic session from Monday, 18th of January 2021. This was announced in a statement signed by the Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefusayo. She noted that this is in line with the federal government's directive coupled with the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. Adefusayo enjoined all schools to make efforts to comply with the outlined COVID-19 requirements for resumption schools. The commission advised that schools should have flexible plans where students and teachers who feel sick can teach and learn from home via available online platforms, and that schools should also strive to avoid any COVID-19 infection among students and staff. And on the foreign scene, the COVID-19 alert in the United Kingdom has been raised to the highest level, 5. This means the National Health Service, NHS, the government-funded healthcare system, is on the brink of collapse. Under level 5, stricter social distancing measures will now be enforced and there is a risk of hospitals being overwhelmed. A statement by the government said the spread of the new variant of COVID-19 has led to rapidly escalating case numbers increasing across the country. Since the pandemic outbreak in 2020, the UK has recorded more than 2 million cases and 75,000 deaths. And now to end the news, here is a summary of the major stories. The new task force on illegal motor parks and street trading have started sensitizing residents on the need to obey the ban imposed by the River State government. Senator Magnus Abe has condemned the attack on members of the APC in the Saritoro local government area by armed thugs loyal to a faction of the party in River State. We also told you that the federal government has assured Nigerians of improved security in 2021. And on the foreign scene, you heard that Prime Minister Boris Johnson has raised COVID-19 alert level to 5 over soaring the cases of the virus in the UK. And that was the news as edited by Victor Eziama. For comments and inquiries, please call 081-5341-8657 or 081-4434-3502. Or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget, take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. I am Dave Roberts. Good evening.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Live from the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. This is Today 95.1 FM.
Okay, all right. All you need to know about this one is that
95.1 FM? Such a unique dial.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the name is the one who made the public know about
it. Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
okay, all right. All you need to know about this one is that
95.1 FM? Such a unique dial.